Game is on at the bottom right. Starts the LGIM player. It is the Zerg in the red. It is
LGIM Horror.
And to the top left we have his opponent. He's down a game already. It is the Casper player. Our Protoss. His ideas.
SK Telecom T1 Rain.
I got a lot of tweets during that last game, people asking me about the carrier change and what it means. I don't have exact values, but I did some testing with Mana when I was in Helsinki, and it turns out that if the carrier is moving back, there's a wider area in which the interceptors will still fire on the target that you selected originally. So you can move back and still do damage for a longer period of time than you could in the past, and that was what was changed. So makes it easier to kind of move back but still do the damage with carriers. That's what was changed. So not a huge buff, but it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, it changes things up a little bit. So the carrier transition for Raiden in the last game definitely was a smart one, but the timings, they didn't really work out for him. If Horror would, at first Horror kind of misses his timing where he could do a lot of pressure, but then he doesn't give Rain enough time to make the transition. So in the end it worked out well for Horror, but the game dragged on for a long time. It was actually really exciting in the end, very, very close. At this point we have both of them, of course, starting things off with the usual build orders. We have the pool starting for Horror so that he can transition into an expansion, and for Rain, things 1-star with a forge into a Nexus.
Yeah, I want to mention as well, he never remade his mothership, which could have been useful. He was lacking in gas for a period of time, but once he got those bases up, instead of making all those carriers, he could have remade the mothership to support a little bit.
His problem was gas. He was always starving for gas the entire time, and of course the whole tech to carriers just is so gas intensive. And we saw later that he didn't have a single Nexus where he could actually mine gas. Every single assimilator was already depleted, so he was desperate to get up this base at the top left. And this was definitely one of the problems that he had to face. Horror, on the other hand, still had a nice bank when it came down to gas, and he was already one base ahead of his opponent.
Pylon gets smacked down there.
The expansion now being up, of course, double base going on for Horror. Exactly the thing that we saw on the last wave, exactly the thing that we would expect here. And it's going to be interesting to see what Rain wants to do. If Rain wants to push with the same idea that he had last game, he just went for a 4-gate attack with +1, or he wants to execute a little bit more of a more, I don't know, more sophisticated attack,
right?
Like with a
fast robo, for example.
Yeah, whatever, something along those lines. I'm not a huge fan of the 4-gate attack, to be honest. Not in the style
It's
that
fallen
Rain
out of
used.
style a little bit, and it's not been working out. Zergs have really figured out how to deal with this.
Zergs just start to use also their Roach Warren a little bit earlier in the game. Just a few weeks back, it was mostly the 7-20-minute timing when a Zerg would build his Roach Warren. But these days, most Zerg players start a little bit earlier, roughly at the 7th minute, sometimes even at 6:20, 6:30. So really fast Roach Warrens these days, and this helps a lot defending against the 4-gate pressure. You have the Roaches that's out so much faster. So the 4-gate pressure with the +1 attack timing, you really have to execute it perfectly to do the damage that you want to do.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever see a player from Casper, for example, try to go for an older build. Do you remember the AnyPro like 7 gateway with +2 and Blink Observer, like the catch-all 2-base attack? That's like super all-in, but like it basically has everything. I wonder if that'll ever come back. By the way, Stargate is the choice for Rain here.
Stargate transition is something that we see occasionally on this map, actually quite often. So the main question is now if he wants to start with just hiding his Phoenixes. He has the Stargate to the top left, so that would definitely be an option for him. Or if he wants to go for Void Ray, immediately shows it, takes down a few of the Overlords and tries to force Horror to go into Hydralisks while taking up the Colossi. A lot of options here for him still, different variations.
You know what's funny to me is that the Ling is like, you can't, if I can't have this watchtower, you can't have the watchtower either, and they're both on hold position.
It's so cool. So if you have 2 units, if each player has a unit at the Zelnaga watchtower, then nobody gets the vision, and therefore a pretty nice situation here.
It's a nice touch by Horror because he's like, he just realized that the Zealot wasn't paying attention and was on hold, so he's like, well, if you don't fix this, then you're just not going to have the watchtower.
And Rain doesn't get it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He hasn't even realized it yet.
it would be so easy for him to chase the Zergling away.
And by the way, we see a Phoenix first, which means he's going to hide, and he's done a great job of blocking the overload out. A huge mistake by Horror, I feel, losing that. Could have definitely saved if he turned it around faster.
We actually have a pretty fast tech for Horror too. He's going for Lair really early here. But this is going to be very interesting, especially I love if the Protoss player is able to hide his Phoenixes, because this can completely obliterate a Zerg player's strategy.
And now he's starting the robotics. And this, if Horror is actually a genius, then he will know, oh, wait a second, this why would he have a robotics this late at this timing? Unless he's going to try to switch into Colossi, so he might be going for Stargate play. There's no way for him to determine that 100%. This is not something that he would be able to expect, but it's possible that seeing that robotics leads him to this, but seeing the Phoenixes certainly will. Yeah. Rain is trying to force him into Hydras and then go for Colossi.
He should move out with a 4th. That was what we usually see, because with 4 Phoenixes you can take down a Queen in one swoop, and this is exactly what happens. The 4th Phoenix is done, and he moves out. How long will he be able to hide this? There's another Overseer coming, and he is just swooping past, not even killing it. He's like, yeah, well, whatever. I want to do damage to your economy. I want to do damage to your production. I am going to take down your queens, and I'm going to do it now.
He's doing it now, indeed. This Queen trying to run over to the safety of the Spore that's making, but it's not going to be done in time. Queen number 1 will fall. And that was the first Spore Coil that was starting. He may be able to get a second Queen. Looks like he's going to go for drones and this Overlord instead.
Yeah, he kills the fruit drones here. And drones in general are not necessarily the best option, especially if your opponent is already on 3 bases and has a macro hatch, which is the case for Horror, because it's just not a lot of minerals that you lose. And if you have the lava, you can just immediately replete the drone count.
Exactly, and since now the Queens are alive, he's actually not going to make 5%. He doesn't need it, and he's just going to go for Infestors.
Not too much damage done by him here. Yeah. If he is able to find the few Overlords that are scattered across the map, it will still be worth it, but I don't think this will happen.
Well, he gets a little bit lucky here, getting the Queen that's on her way back to the main base.
That was well done, though. Sees his chance and uses it immediately. Could take down the Overseer here, too. The Overlord.
Yep, and he's going to do it. Well.
He teases it a little bit. Try to run. I know you can't escape.
He wants to take his 3rd base potentially here with the Colossi that he's going into. And, you know, Colossi can be great against Hydralisk that he was probably trying to force with this, but they're good against Infestors as well.
Oh, that is actually so mean. This is like bullies in high school. Trying to bully a fat kid. Try to run and then move in. That is actually so mean. Phoenixes are horrible.
He like takes his cupcake and he's like, here, you can have it back. He like holds his hand, the kid tries to take it, then he moves his hand away. He's like, no, you can't have it back.
Yeah, it's really mean. Phoenix are the real bullies in StarCraft 2. And look at them, even picking off these roaches here. Yeah.
They're like, actually, are they bullies or are they like getting revenge? Like, you like to force cancels on hatcheries, huh? How you like being up in the sky? You're not an air unit.
It's probably actually not just bullies, it's just Protoss kids that were bullied in school.
Yeah.
These are the nerds, and then they got pilots.
Exactly.
They got a Phoenix, and now they are taking revenge.
Yeah, you think you can spy on my base, Overlords? Think you can spread that creep out there? Give supply to the Zerg?
Nah.
I don't know. That's what the Phoenixes say. The Phoenixes, they look cool in that unit portrait, but they're not that cool.
Pretty cool transition here, by the way, for Horror. He's not going for any kind of Hydra transition. He's going for the Infestors, which I like quite a lot. With the Infestors and Fungals, he can do so much damage to this. And he's going for a Spire, so this is actually pretty cool. The Spire transition will catch the Colossi. This is what Rain does now, and it's pretty standard. Rain is going for Colossi, he's going for additional attack upgrades, +2 as we speak, and for the Blink upgrade. And Rain will have a decent composition against this with Corruptors and Fungals. It's pretty cool.
And he's continuing to bully the drones now. And it's starting to add up a little bit, I would say. The Phoenixes were not really initially able to do very much damage, but they're still alive and they've killed so much. But the Fungal is good! And the second Fungal is also good. And the third one?
Bye-bye. Adios, muchachos. This is it. Here we go. Another Fungal, and the last Phoenix will also die. This is exactly what those Infestors are for. Now they're out of energy, though. And Rain doesn't try to attack his. There would also be a bit too much of a gamble if he tries to push out here, especially against the Corruptors. that Horror already has. But for Horror, this was great now. If you look at how we stand, we have 3 bases against 3, the 4th coming up for Horror now. Everything went his way so far. He was able to catch this composition, but he has to deal with this push out of Rain. And Rain is in a supply lead when he comes down to the army supply.
And, you know, the Corruptors that he's made are only 4 right now. He's going to need a lot more than that to defend against this attack. The Infestors will be helpful. A lot of them are low on energy still. But he's up to, it looks like 11 now in his army composition. Yeah, 11 in total. And Horror he's in a position to defend here. He just needs a little bit more time. And I think Rain may actually just make a Nexus. He's sending a probe over. Gets taken out, though.
The Zergling's trying to get into the third, but not a lot of luck here with the cannon being present.
Yeah, great positioning on that cannon. It cannot be attacked.
Yeah. And here comes this attack by Rain that we talked about. Horror is in the supply lead. He's moving it. Nice bundles here. Really good. A lot of Infestors. Not a lot to back them up, though. This might be a problem for him. He's trying to take down those Colossi as fast as possible, but look at the Infestor count.
Yeah, the Infestor count is high, but it's dropping. And the Colossi are really doing their damage. He forces the Infestors back. He will kill this hatchery.
It's just like he doesn't have a lot to back them up. Now the Roach is streaming, but they are a little bit too late to the party.
Now all the energy is gone. He's dropping a few Infested Terrans. And the Corruptor's coming from the side. He needs to micro those Colossi back. He's not doing it. Oh wow, 2 Corruptors kill a Colossus. Okay, that was a close call.
And Horror is dropping in supply. He had the Infestors, but he just didn't have the correct army composition. He wasn't ready for Rain just yet. The Protoss player takes down the 4th and forces Horror back on 3 bases. Zerg still with a slight lead here, but the resources lost. 11,000 for Horror and 8,000 for Rain. And he is picking those roaches off too.
Yeah, they're on the retreat. He's trying to find a way to get through here, and now the Nexus is started, but there's a Zergling to block. Nicely done. Nice little touch by Horror, able to do that several times last game. The attack continues, though. He's trying to get 2 additional spines up, but he doesn't have anything to buy time, and he needs a lot of time.
Rain not too distracted by this small run by to the top right. He wants to end it now. He goes in at the 3rd. The Stalker warp in at base number 3 for the Protoss player. Takes care of the Roaches, and now he's moving in at the bottom left.
Yeah, he almost took out the Colossi, but that's a lot of supply lost in Corruptors. It's not really, I mean, those resources that he spent on those do not really pay off.
Horror is dropping low in supply now, and this is a lot of damage that he just can't afford to take. He is going to lose this game if he's not really careful. He needs a win, and he needs it fast.
Yeah.
But now the Infestors are gone, and he's losing too many of those Corruptors, and he doesn't have the ground support.
He doesn't have any support. The Spine Crawlers are starting to go down. The last Colossus falls, but the Corruptors are dead weight now. 15 Roaches.
Plus 2 attack upgrades for the Stalkers. The drones are starting to die as well. The Corruptors, you can't use them, as Wolf already pointed out, and the Roaches, they stream in one by one. GG!